Greetings and welcome. This is the Gadget 360 show. My name is Rajiv Makhni and today I have a very unique show for you. Look, you usually have great gadgets, great devices. We've got all of that. For instance, we've got the Lenovo Tab P11 Pro out here. But there are two other stories that I have that are very, very unique. The first one is we did a review of the O2 Cure plug-and play. Now this is an air purifier that also claimed that it can take care of, in fact it can nullify the COVID-19 virus, other viruses, other bacteria. We got an incredible response from all of you and with of course a huge tinge of healthy skepticism. So we decided we'll go deeper into the technology. I mean, how does it work? What is ionization? Isn't it supposed to be actually bad for you because of the ozone? We spoke to an expert, Varun Agarwal, and then we spoke to the founder, Kartik Singhal. So we'll tell you today where this technology actually stands. And then one more big one, the Detel Pro. This is a SpO2 monitor, an oximeter. For how much? How much are you getting it nowadays? Even the bad ones out there in the market, the ones that are really supposed to be of a poor quality. 1,000, 1,200, 1,500. This one, well, I'm not going to tell you the price. I'll tell you as the show carries on. Let's get started with today's show.
Sony has recently announced that the latest God of War has been pushed to 2022, but there is a good news for the fans out there since the game will be released on both PS4 and PS5 simultaneously. The Apple TV app has finally debuted on the Google Android Play Store platform, and now the users will be able to download the Apple TV app across all Android TV devices. Some of the famous shows on the Apple TV app include The Morning Show featuring Steve Carell and Home Before Dark.
Let's get started with our top story, the Lenovo Tab P11 Pro. It was announced at CES 2021. It's a very performance-centric tablet by Lenovo, 11.5-inch WQVGA OLED panel. Operating system very minimal, no bloatware. It's powered by Qualcomm Snapdragon 730G, so it is quite a performance beast. Comes with a SIM card slot and at a very good price. Can replace a laptop for generic tasks and comes for a price, like I said, of under 45,000 rupees. Here is our Gadget 360 review.
Making its debut at this year's CES, Lenovo's P11 Pro tablet grabbed a lot of eyeballs. Promising to be a complete package of both power and design, this tablet is on the radar for most tech enthusiasts out there. But is it worthy of your time and money? Well, let's find out. Lenovo has gone back to the drawing board when it comes to the design of the P11 Pro. The tablet supports a premium profile and it looks stunning in its dual-tone finish. The design of the tablet does resemble the iPad Pro, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Regardless of its massive size, the tablet is really lightweight and a user is comfortable while holding it. This light design does not come at the cost of durability, since the P11 Pro is made of a high-quality aluminium alloy, and yes, it does feel sturdy. Turning on the tablet, we're greeted with a massive 11.5-inch WQXGA screen and OLED panel. This is perhaps one of the most important upgrades Lenovo has done to move forward in the tablet segment. A super responsive panel, we faced no issues interacting with the P11 Pro. The feedback time was quick and the panel responded well to all of our gestures. That being said, because of its huge size, it is a bit difficult to type on the tablet. Producing vibrant colors and detailed images, it was a treat to work on the P11 Pro. Supporting a maximum brightness of up to 350 nits, this is a well-illuminated panel which makes this tablet a great device to watch content on. We caught up on most of our favorite web series and we were not disappointed. Unfortunately, this panel does not support a higher refresh rate like 120Hz, which might disappoint some potential buyers. Supporting this display is a quad speaker setup by JBL. Sufficiently loud, this is perhaps one of the better sounding tablets that we've come across. Running on Android 10 out of the box, the P11 Pro provides an almost stock Android experience. The bloatware is minimal and the OS compromises Google certified applications by default. Lenovo has seamlessly integrated the OS on the P11 Pro, which results in a snappy performance and a performance that is well in sync with the user. Since the tablet is Google certified, we can expect regular OTA updates on the device. Now for the main event, which is the hardware under the hood. Powered by a Snapdragon 730G chipset, this is one of the first tablets to support this particular Qualcomm SoC. A perfect choice for a tablet of this nature. The chipset delivers a fiery performance on the P11 Pro. The tablet boots up in a snap and maintains quick load-up speeds across applications. Now, the P11 Pro will not disappoint you when it comes to generic everyday tasks like writing emails, browsing the internet, or creating documents. But if you are someone who deals in heavy media files and renders, then this might not be the tablet for you. Basic picture and video editing can be done on the P11 Pro like a breeze. However, the tablet might give up on you in dealing with heavy files and renders. Moving on, we were impressed with the RAM management of the P11 Pro. Packing in 6 GB of LPDDR4X memory, the tablet can store and maintain data for longer periods of time. As for storage, we get 128 gigs of internal capacity with an option to expand the storage space up to 1 TB by using a memory card. The tablet also comes with a nano SIM card slot that supports 4G connectivity. Unfortunately, the SIM card will be limited to providing internet access only since there is no calling feature available on the P11 Pro. This is a bit odd. Moving on, in terms of optics, the P11 Pro comes with a dual camera setup on the back. The 13 megapixel primary sensor is combined with a 5 megapixel ultra-wide sensor which delivers a satisfactory image quality. There is also a dual lens setup on the front with two 8 megapixel sensors. While this setup is good for video calls, the selfies from the tablet will not be worthy of your Insta feed. The Tab P11 Pro comes with an 8600 mAh battery which in our testing gave us a mileage of 2 days. And with that, it is time to wrap up this review. The Lenovo P11 Pro is a perfect representative for the next generation of Android tablets. It looks great, packs in some impressive hardware and is well integrated with the Android ecosystem. Unfortunately, what this device lacks is an aggressive price tag. Lenovo is offering the P11 Pro at 44,990 rupees, which might keep some customers away from it.
Let's move on now to the first story that I spoke to you about, which is a very unusual story. Think of it as technology investigative journalism in a way. So we reviewed a product called the O2 Cure plug-and-play air purifier, but the mainstay and USP of it was not just air purification, but the fact that it could actually nullify COVID-19 virus in a room. Now that's a big claim. A lot of you very excited, a lot of you wrote in to us, a lot of you put it out on social media. You wanted to know more. Now there was a healthy dose of skepticism also. I mean, how can this technology work if it's true? Why wasn't it really being spoken about before? Why doesn't the rest of the world use this? All of that. So we decided to find out exactly what is going on. First, we spoke to Barun Agarwal, founder and CEO, Breathe Easy Consultants Private Limited, because he is very skeptical about this technology. So Barun, tell me, why do you believe this technology has problems?
Rajiv, thanks again for having me on the show. There are a lot of technologies out there in the market, and especially in the COVID world, there are lots of new technologies that have been patented or recently been discovered that are being touted by manufacturers and claiming with huge efficiencies of removing coronavirus and other pollutants. The unfortunate part is none of these are truly tested by independent laboratories or been peer reviewed by proper journals as the science calls for it. A lot of these technologies at the end of the day give the consumer a certain satisfaction that it is solving a problem, but in reality they don't solve the problem, but in fact they end up releasing certain negative issues, either ozone or ionization or some other harmful byproduct which ends up hurting the consumer rather than helping them.
So Barun, explain to me. Ionization, ozone, formaldehyde, and all these other things that you're talking about, free radicals coming out. I mean, that's exactly what they're really talking about. Ionization is the mainstay technology for products like this.
Ozone is a known problem that you don't want to be breathing in at all. We already have a high problem of ozone in India because our outdoor air has higher levels of ozone than what is the prescribed limit. Now, if you're adding even the tiniest amount to that, then you're making the problem worse rather than improving the situation. Similar, The other byproducts are formaldehyde, extremely carcinogenic. It's cancer producing to be breathing in formaldehyde, and you have to ensure that you have to air out the entire room if you have formaldehyde in that space. And some of these products which have ionization will create formaldehyde or ozone as byproducts, which can be very, very dangerous to the human body.
Thank you, Barun. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. So as we continued with our technological investigative journalism, like I said, I like calling this entire thing, we found a few more other columns and articles that also said something very similar to what Barun was saying, that ionization can actually lead to a whole lot of problems. So we decided to speak to Kartik Singhal, founder O2 Cure, the company that actually makes all this. Kartik, thank you so much for joining us on the show. So let's get started first with what's so different about your air purifier from any other? How can you claim it takes care of COVID-19?
Well, thank you, Rajiv, for the question. For this, we need to understand that technologies, air purification technologies, they can be categorized into passive and active. Passive means the air needs to be recirculated through a mechanical filter in order to capture the particle. That's what HEPA filter is doing. Now, HEPA filter has various grades. The medical grade with an MPPS of minimum penetrating particle size can capture the particle, but we don't want to capture the virus or the microbe. We want to neutralize it. Here is when this particular technology, the PHI, photohydroionization, if you can see, is basically a UV lamp which has which is specially designed, and it is covered with a quad metallic material, which is made up of titanium, rhodium, copper, silver, and many other metals. Now, what we do is we use the water of the air, the moisture of the air, and there's a reaction that happens, and we produce atmospheric hydrogen peroxide in the air. So we are not a regular technology producing ions and producing or capturing the particle. What we are doing is imitating what the sun does in the morning.
Because ionization must by default create some ozone. So isn't this just you giving your technology a brand new, high-fangled, nice-sounding name, but it's still pretty much old-school technology?
When we talk about ionization, there are, it's an old technology, to be honest, ionization. What we are doing is not ionization. With PHI, we produce atmospheric hydrogen peroxide or H2O2 molecules. Now, these H2O2 molecules basically are spread in equilibrium in your entire indoor space. As soon as they come in contact with any microbial, can be bacteria, virus, can be any kind of microbial, it neutralizes it instantly and turns into H2O and O2.
Are you saying that your device does not create any ozone at all?
Right. The PHI cell is designed in a way, the lamp that we are using is also patented, in fact, that if the ozone is released below 200 nanometer, it is instantly killed at 254 nanometer.
There was a lot of controversy, Sharper Image, Alpine, EcoQuest, many others that all said pretty much the kind of things that you're talking about, and then were proven wrong with science and legally in court, and all of those companies went bankrupt. In fact, Sharper Image, they say, went bankrupt mainly because of this technology they used in the Ionic Breeze air purifier. So are you saying that, can you tell me what was going on with those and how are you different?
Well, it depends on the kind of test, Rajiv. Whatever products you might be seeing out there in the world, they have been tested in a shoebox testing, is what we say.
Right.
So even if a UV lamp I take and I place, a petri dish and a virus in a petri dish, and I place the UV lamp in a shoebox, it'll show me results. But what if in the air? So that's why our testing was done in a 1300 cubic feet room to a real life simulation, and we tested it in the air. That's why we talk about this being an active purification technology. And if there is equilibrium of hydrogen peroxide molecules in the air, it neutralizes it from the source itself.
I've really looked for specifically the kind of thing that you're talking about, specific to your device. I couldn't find any peer reviews.
Right. So about the testing that I mentioned first, that CSIR says this is the only product that we've tested over the SARS-CoV-2 on surfaces. Rest, like you said, the California study. We have independent studies by CARB. We have independent studies by Kansas State University, Sandia National Lab. All these are not funded, research and studies that we did. They did it for us, in fact, as a third party, when they took all the other devices and they submitted the study to us.
Why is there so much of negativity towards this technology? Is there a reason why there is an almost upheaval of people saying this is dangerous technology?
So ionization, as you know, is in our industry is used in kitchen exhausts or applications where you don't have human, human occupancy, because you're looking for a strong oxidizing agent. Now, ozone is a very strong oxidizing agent. That's why people use ionization for it, but only where you don't have human occupancy. Then you have hydrogen peroxide as a very strong oxidizing agent, but only if you have it in the permissible limit. So we have all testings, the permissible limit of hydrogen peroxide in the air should not cross 1 ppm over an average of 8 hours when exposed to human body as per OSHA. So we have all the certifications over that. Also for ozone we have that. But negative ionization or ionization in general, people are using so that they can create like a product, a COVID product, which will help you in smaller investments.
Thank you, Kartik, for joining us on the show, and we will keep tracking this story. So now, we presented you almost all the facts that are out there. Do read a little bit more about it and do tell us what you think. Let's take a quick break right now on the show. When we come back, lots more, as you can see. All right, let's move on now to our next big one. The small Detel Pro Fingertip Pulse Oximeter. Now this is quite incredible. I mean, think about it. What's the single greatest problem that people have been facing? First of all, getting SpO2 monitors itself is a big problem, right? I mean, they're just not available. And then you get fairly tacky ones priced at 1,500, 2,000 rupees. Guess how much this one is for? 299 rupees.
Ever since our fight against the COVID-19 pandemic began, three things have been at the forefront: masks, sanitizers, and SpO2 monitors or oximeters. Tracking our oxygen levels regularly can give us an edge in our fight against coronavirus. Unfortunately, the cost and availability of these devices usually keeps a large chunk of the population away from buying them. Usually they're priced between 1,000 to 3,000 rupees. What if someone could come up with an SpO2 monitor that was priced at 299 rupees? That would mean that many more people could afford it. Well, it has happened. This is from Detel and it is priced 1 rupee less than 300. In terms of the design, this oximeter by Detel looks in line with what you expect from a device of this nature. It is lightweight and portable, which makes it easy to carry around. Surprisingly, the build quality is better than we had expected and the device feels robust. Let's quickly understand how a pulse oximeter actually works. A pulse oximeter is essentially a device that measures the oxygen saturation of the pulsating blood in our body. Oxygen is an indispensable part of our blood and is found in the oxygenated hemoglobin molecules. So, when a pulse oximeter is calculating the oxygen saturation in our blood, it is in fact calculating the percentage of these oxygenated hemoglobin molecules. The working of a pulse oximeter is fairly simple. It uses a light source with red and infrared lights in it that work in sync with a light detector placed opposite to the light source. When a user places their finger between the light source and light detector, these lights pass through their blood, thereby getting absorbed by oxygenated and deoxygenated hemoglobin molecules. Both these types of molecules absorb light at different wavelengths, which makes it easy for the pulse oximeter to differentiate between the two. Finally, the pulse oximeter monitors and displays the ratio of oxygenated hemoglobin molecules, thereby showing oxygen saturation in our blood. What makes these results more reliable is the fact that the circuit of a pulse oximeter considers the finger size, absorbance of tissues and ambient light before showing the results. With that little science lesson out of the way, it is time to test this device by Detel. Placing our index finger in the oximeter, we press the front mounted button and let the device do its job. The result came in fast, the big display shows the information clearly and different colors denote different information. As for the results, the SpO2 monitoring of the device is indeed accurate since we did compare the results with a more expensive counterpart at the same time. The case is similar when it comes to heart rate monitoring, with the device showing fairly accurate results. At 299 rupees, this is a game changer in the fight against COVID-19. We hope more companies bring in products like these that are priced for everyone.
So we were quite okay with the quality of the product, but then we decided, let's talk to the person behind it, Yogesh Bhatia of Detel. So Mr. Bhatia, how have you actually delivered a product for 299 rupees? Either you've compromised on this, or are all the other manufacturers selling at a huge margin in profit?
हम किसी भी किस्म से प्राइस को ध्यान में रखते हुए क्वालिटी में कंप्रोमाइज नहीं करते हैं। मैं ये नहीं कहूंगा अदर ब्रांड्स बहुत ज्यादा मार्जिन लेते हैं, बट हमारी टीम की स्पेशलिटी, हमारी जो सोर्सिंग है, हमारे जो प्रोडक्ट के ऊपर उसकी सोच, एक जिद और एक सोच के साथ हम लोग प्रोडक्ट को करते हैं कि हम प्रोडक्ट को अफोर्डेबल बनाकर masses तक एक अफोर्डेबल प्राइस तक पहुंचा पाएं।
Thank you for joining us on the show, Mr. Bhatia, and I really wish you a lot of luck. I hope a lot of other manufacturers also take a cue from you and do this. That then was the Gadget 360 show for this week, but do remember we've got a great, if you love the show and the kind of things that we did today, do keep watching. I'll be back next week. This is Rajiv Makhni signing off.